we are going to start another, we are again continuing with element 2, and in element 2 we are today going to discuss techniques of identification of hazard. Now there is a request that has come that the videos are supposed to be in English. Yes, I do understand, everybody understands English. In Hindi there is a request that people do understand Hindi language as well, and it mainly focuses in India. Yes, so today this video will be in English, but later on what I'll do is that I'll post in midweek the same video in Hindi as well, so that everybody has the benefit of the learning. So there are a number of ways to discover hazard in a work situation. Monitoring, observation and data collection is the core activity almost in all hazard identification techniques. So safety surveys, plant safety inspection, accident investigation, job safety analysis, these are basically some useful techniques for identification and control of hazard in the industry. Now let us understand from the very basics, like what definition, say hazard. So situation, condition or activity which has the capacity to result in an accident or injury is termed as hazard. Now everybody is aware of it, or we can say that anything that has a potential to cause harm. Now elimination or control of hazardous situations calls for deployment of a systematic and an established technique, correct? So development of a specific skills and above all team effort by employees and management. Primarily whenever we are talking of elimination or controlling the hazardous situation, so it is who is responsible, like who should be involved. So basically employee and management both should be involved, and we need to develop, we need to establish a specific skill or technique, or efforts are to be in unidirection or with a one single motive, that we need to stop this, right? We need to make sure that it is properly identified. So identification and appraisal of hazards and evaluation of severity of accident problem is one of the basic function in process of rendering the work severity or the accident problem that happens, right? So what we do is we identify and appraisal of hazards and evaluation of the severity of accident problem in one of the basic function in the process of rendering work method and environment safe in industry. So hazard identification helps in correcting accident proactive situations in early stage of products manufacturing cycle and from design to dispatch. If you have understood this is basically, as I just read it from the definition part. Now you need to clearly define it. So it is very clear, like whenever any technique is utilized, like any hazard identification technique is utilized. So what we are doing is that we are proactively identifying any situation or a stage in the manufacturing cycle wherein from design, like starting from the very design phase to the operational and the dispatch phase of any product, we are trying to ensure that hazards at each stage is identified. So that's what the core purpose is of hazard identification. Now when it comes to hazard identification, everybody knows that okay, hazard identification has to happen. Okay, now when we say that hazard identification has to happen, then we come down to hazard analysis. So there are two types of hazard analysis. One is inductive method and another one is deductive method. So what is inductive method? So let us understand that how inductive method works. So inductive method or inductive analysis method uses observable data to predict what can happen, correct? And deductive data is if inductive analysis tells us what can happen, then deductive analysis tells us how it can happen. So this is the basic difference between the so in hazard analysis, what is there? Hazard analysis is a systematic process aimed to acquire specific information about hazard and failure pertaining that gives any system what failure can happen. This is what hazard analysis tells us. So in this situation, it involves two analytical methods, namely inductive method and deductive method. So what is inductive method? Inductive method is used for observable data to predict what can happen. So basically, the component parts of a system that contributes to the success or failure of the system or as a whole. So inductive analysis does what? It considers a system operation from the standpoint of the component that failure in a particular operation or a condition can have, right? So the effect of that failure on the system is analyzed. So the inductive methods forms the basic of such analysis. So that means when we are trying to predict what can happen, so how we will be predicting. So I'll just give you an example so that this inductive method, if you are not able to relate, you'll be now able to relate. Like failure mode and effect analysis, FMEA. Now you've heard of it, right? Oh, this is an inductive technique. So that means what we are doing is that we are trying to predict what can happen. So in FEMA, failure mode and effect analysis, what is going to be the failure mode and what is going to be the effect. So what we are going to do, we are going to predict something. So that comes under FEMA. It is an inductive technique. Okay. Now, construction hazard analysis, CHA. Some people have heard about this also, right? So the names you have heard. Now, primarily, whatever names or abbreviations are given to different techniques, it comes under one basic form. So you need to first know that, okay, this is an inductive technique. Yes, so this is an inductive technique. In a failure mode and effect analysis, the failure or malfunction of each component is considered, and this includes the mode of failure also. So the effect of hazard that led to the failure are traced through the system and ultimately effects on the task performed and is evaluated. However, because only one failure is considered at a time, some possibilities may be overlooked. So that's why no particular technique is very absolute, and we need to think of alternate means and we need to simplify it. So how we do it? Once the inductive analysis is completed and critical failures that are required, further investigation are detected, then fault tree analysis will facilitate the inspection. So what we do FEMA, then we do fault tree analysis, then primarily it focuses on what? Job safety analysis. So job safety analysis or JSA is an inductive technique method used for hazard identification and analysis. So JSA is the core part. We will take this topic in question answers also, which we will be taking today. Now, let us discuss on the deductive method. So, if inductive, like I said, inductive analysis tells us what can happen. So, deductive analysis tells us how. So, when we talk of the failure of the entire system and then identify how the components could contribute to the failure, deductive method uses a combined events of analysis, often in forms of trees. So positive tree can be standing and requirement for the success. So basically fault tree and reverse image of positive tree, that is what is shown. So basically these are just techniques. So all possible happenings that can contribute to that event are diagrammed in form of a tree. The branches are drawn, and then you just simply, what you're doing is that in deductive technique, you're just trying to make the flow chart. So the fault tree requires rigorous, thorough analysis, because there the points are not there, right? I'm sorry. So there the points are not there. So what you do is you just make the flow chart of the entire thing, so that what is going to happen when, okay, this happens, then it goes back, so reverse cycle. So we are just trying to make the tree out of it. So this is what happens in a deductive technique. So the fault tree is a graphical model of various parallel and sequential combinations of the event or component events that may that by result of single selected system fault. So if you select a single system fault, that okay, this is going to happen, so what will happen next, what will happen next, what will happen next, what will happen next. So this is how you overall do the assessment. Now let us take few questions. Let us take some questions. Like first question, what is a job safety analysis? So it is an organized look at what in your work activities and workplace could cause harm to people. What is job safety analysis? It is an organized look at what in your work activity and workplace could cause harm to people. Now, this will allow you to weigh up whether you have taken adequate precautions or should do more or to avoid harm. Correct? So primary focus is to avoid harm. So whether you have taken adequate measures or not, that is being talked in job safety analysis. Now the important thing you need to decide are whether the hazard is significant and whether you have covered it by satisfactory precautions so that the risk is acceptably low. Now, job safety analysis should assess the risk that may be present in all work activity. That may be present in all work activities and may identify particular area for more detailed specific assessment. So primarily, job safety analysis will talk of what in job safety analysis we will identify that whether the risk is there. Okay, if the risk is there, what is the potential, and then we keep a track of it. So that is what job safety analysis is all about. So if you want to base, in one line, if you want to answer, it is very easy. It is an organized lookup at what in your work activity and workplace could cause harm to people. That's it. Simple one line answer. Now, coming to the second question, that is, why is job safety analysis necessary? Now, this is a very important question. So, why job safety analysis is necessary? So, all employers have a duty to care of individual staff, contractors, or third parties in the workplace, correct? Every employer has a duty. Whosoever is present in your workplace, so it is the employer's duty that whatever activities are going to happen, it is to be analyzed and you have to ensure that it is safe, correct? So failure to take responsible steps to ensure their health and safety could result into a legal action being taken against the employer for negligence or specific action being brought under local occupational health and safety legislation. So job safety analysis, why job safety analysis is necessary? It comes under the legal obligation of the employer. This is the first part. Now, the job safety analysis must be undertaken to identify risk to health and safety, and control measures must be taken to manage those risks. So primarily what we are going to do in job safety analysis, we have to first identify the risk related pertaining to health and safety, and then not only just identify them, but we also have to identify the control measures that must be taken or managed, how to manage that particular risk. Now, evidence is required or to be kept in form of reports which documents the identified hazard and controls, and regular update must be produced to that document, which will improve and implement the controls. So primarily whenever you are doing any analysis, it is much more required that not only the analysis, but through this analysis the entire cycle or the operation is being implemented, and you must know that what is to be implemented as well. Now we'll take the third question, that is, who should perform a job safety analysis? This is again a very good question. Why? Because who is supposed to? So essentially, individuals who are familiar with the work area and working practice should be involved in job safety analysis. So why this becomes a very critical question? Because everybody says this is not our work, this is safety officer's work. No, my dear, you are the one who is going to work in the area. You know the area better, you know the work practice that you are going to perform. So ideally you are supposed to be part of the job safety analysis, so that the in-depth understanding of what can go wrong or how things are happening there is known and can be explained as well. So all whatever is principally whatever is being analyzed, who will be involved? So the person who is going to be, like in case of equipment, the operator is supposed to be there, safety officer should be there to guide them, so that a proper job safety analysis is done and proper. All these things comes from a discussion. So the assessors are responsible for developing JSA, that is job safety analysis plan, for the area of responsibility and completing the assessment in accordance with the plan. So this is what is required. Now another question that has come up is how often should JSA be done? This is again a very important question. How often? Okay, when we are supposed to do, how often it is to be done? Okay, so job safety analysis should be undertaken at least once a year, provided that no changes in work practice or environment have occurred during that time. So this is as per definition. So now job safety analysis, when it is required, every year once you need to revisit that whether any changes has happened or something like that. Now here one clause has put, one point has put, that is, if the work practice is changing, okay, you are adding something or you are introducing a new product and there is some change in the process flow, so that is to be analyzed and that should be part of JSA. Because what you are doing here, you are identify what can go wrong, right? So you need to first put it in a JSA as well. Okay, that you are going to do this is what is as the change. So JSA has to happen once in a year, at least once in a year. You need to revisit it, you need to revise it. But when it comes to work practice or environment change, then at that time you have to perform. So when changes have been made, every small change, a new JSA must be performed and check whether risk to health and safety have changed. So this is very important point, that you have to check whether health and safety risk have changed, or risk has increased or decreased. Whatever has happened, you have to mention it in the JSA. So this is how it is. Now we will be discussing on how job safety analysis is performed. So this is a very, very good question, that how job safety analysis is performed. Everybody wants to know that how it is performed. So what should be the focus? So here I'll be explaining job safety analysis in 8 simple steps. The first step is focus for assessment. So what is your focus for assessment? A risk assessment is not theoretical exercise first. However, whenever work can be done on paper from the knowledge you and your employee or the representatives have of the workplace. A tour of workplace will be needed to confirm, amend or add details to the initial views. So what should be the first step? First step is focus on the assessment. So how you will be focusing on the assessment? Take around theoretical exercise. If people are discussing, okay, we are going to perform this, so these things are involved. So but who will be able to give you in-depth details of what is there going to be there in the process? First, when you are developing some process, so the person who is developing the process, then the person who is going to perform that process on a particular equipment, that equipment operator. Okay, I have this equipment, only these things are possible. So like that. So that is focus on the assessment. The second activity or the second step is identify activities. It is very important to identify clearly that what are the potential safety hazards in a workplace, or you should first look at all activities that are going to be carried out. Don't just look at the routine, daily operation. Consider all possible activities, including occasional maintenance, visit to the workplace by third parties as well. So you have to identify when you are preparing a JSA. So if you not only prepare it for the operator, but you prepare the JSA for keeping in mind that okay, third parties are also going to come, visitors will be there, surrounding people are going to be there. So you need to consider all of them and then perform the JSA, so that every minute detail or the identified whatever activities are going to happen there. So all those activities are identified, including the activities happening in the surrounding as well. So identify activities. Now the third point that comes, or third step, is identify hazard. So make a list of all the hazards that are likely to occur in each activity. Ignoring the, we can definitely ignore some, basic things, but yes, important ones that are going to, that has a potential or a significant hazards are there that are to be identified, and most crucial also. So consider that hazards may not be associated with the particular activity, but still it can happen, like fire or shock, whatever, it can happen. So you have to consider. So the third point or the third step is to identify the hazard. So first was focus on the assessment, where we are taking around and we are just trying to digest or keep record every part of the activity. Then we are trying to identify the activity. Then we are identifying by the activity we are trying to identify the hazards. Now, who is at risk? Fourth step is who is at risk. So now you need to decide that who might be in danger. If anything goes wrong, so who might be in danger? Then fifth point is evaluate the risk. When you identify that who might be at risk, then you can very easily identify that okay, how much will be the risk. So when we evaluate the risk arising from the hazard and decide whether your existing safety control measures are adequate or whether more should be done to get rid of the hazard or to control the risk. So this is how we evaluate the risk. So fifth step is to evaluate the risk. Sixth step is to review the controls. So whatever controls are there, like looking at the existing controls that you have in place, each identified risk, and assess whether it is adequate, whether you could be done or improved, or implementation something or the other is needed. So we review the controls. When we identify the risk, we identified okay, this risk is there, but okay, we have these controls. Then we evaluate whether this risk is okay, with this control, is it sufficient? Okay, do we need to add some more controls? No. Now when we have listed down the controls, so we analyze the controls. Okay, this control is sufficient, it is okay, it is adequate, whether we need something more, then the controls are identified. This is the sixth point. Now the seventh point is produce a job safety analysis report, and that is recording decisions. So whatever decisions we have taken above, it is to be recorded. So when we are recording the findings and details, that means tell your employees about your findings by distributing or publishing your report, providing them details and providing them training, providing them information about it, and telling them okay about the hazards of the process, about the hazards of the activity, and including the first aid and the emergency procedures. So we do make the record of decisions. And finally, the eighth point comes, that is review regularly. So when we keep the assessment under review and revise them at necessary intervals, when we have to do it, we have already discussed it, that whenever there is a change, we have to do the review. So I hope this much part is clear to everyone. And now finally we will be making that is applicable hazard identification techniques with respect to state of operation. It is a very simple paragraph wise. I have just listed project phase, in what phase, selected hazard identifications technique. Why I have done this? Because people have asked like what to be done when, what, see, you can do anything anywhere, but there are certain basics about it. So I have just listed down the basic. First, research and development. So when we are doing research and development, so the ideal technique that can be used is what if analysis. So research and development is like non-predictive activity. Okay, this we are going to do this. Okay, so what if this goes wrong? What if this goes? So what if analysis is the best for research and development. Now when we come to conceptual design, when we are designing this and when we are conceptualizing overall activities, so primary hazard analysis is required. Primary hazard, PHA, or process hazard analysis, that can happen, PHA. Okay, now pilot plant operation, so HAZOP analysis can happen. Detail engineering, when it is happening, so you can go for fault tree or event tree analysis. So then coming to construction or startups, so you can go for checklist analysis and safety reviews. Routine operations, you can do HAZOP analysis. Plant expansion, you can do relative rating or HAZOP analysis. Then incident investigation, you can go for FEMA or HERA. Then decommissioning, so you can again go for what if and checklist based analysis. So I hope that all these activities are understood and I was able to cover the topic in very brief and very precise, and again in English language. In Hindi I'll post it in midweek. So thank you everyone, and do like and share the video, and if you have heard till now, I hope that you have subscribed our channel, and for the support of the channel, keep liking and sharing. Thank you so much, friends.